Locker Room, with all the sports news you need, live.
There we go. I guess that it's 5 o'clock and we're live on the Locker Room until 7 o'clock tonight. We have got the transfer window, but two guys, it's not going anywhere. Well, I don't know if they are. Maybe going out after this programme. It's Regan and Stephen, the gruesome twosome, as they're known, in Easter House. All right, guys.
Cheers, Michael. It's good to be on. It's just great to be on talking about Scottish football. Obviously, we've got transfer deadline day as well, so it's going to be good.
Yep, Stephen, you'll be happy after last week's result against the mighty Hearts.
Oh, delighted, especially when the amount of injuries we sustained in an early part of the season. I think to have 4 points out of possible 9, having went away to Rangers, is pretty good going. And I'm happy with the business that we've done in the window. So, no, things are looking good moving forward.
Right, before we get on to looking at the games tomorrow, over the weekend, we're going to look at a Scotland squad. I think Stevie Clarke made an announcement on Tuesday, actually, and the press conference was dominated by why did you not play Shankland and Forrest and all that in the games. I think he's a few games away from Scotland fans maybe getting on his back even more. But never mind. We will discuss further with Stephen because he was at the Euros, and I presume like you're going next week as well. Reagan's going to the game against Poland as well. So if we look at the squad now, and I don't know if there's any kind of like real surprises in that squad. We'll see that pool in a minute or two. But I don't know if you're surprised by any anybody in that squad, Stephen, or is it as you were?
I think the glaring thing for me, Michael, is that it seems to have put a lot of wingers in with the likes of Ben Doak, James Forrest, Lewis Morgan coming in. I know Forrest and Morgan went to the Euros and Doak was in the provisional squad for it. But to me, I'm hoping that it hints at a change of formation. I think it's something that we need. I don't think that the wing back system works if both Tierney and Robertson are in the starting 11. So I think it's important that we have another way of playing, a plan B. I think you can see for the Hungary game that it was glaring that we needed runners and wingers and people getting in behind the defence. And it was a bit bemusing as to why these players were put on so late. So I'm hoping that he uses these Nations League games to kind of find not so much a different style, because I do think the wing backs can work with the right personnel available, but to find a different way of playing if those players aren't available. Because I think Poland are beatable. I think Croatia are beatable. I think the really hard one in the group for this is Portugal, but the other two teams, I don't think we should fear anything. I mean, they've got Lewandowski in Croatia, have got Modric, but these are players that are aging. I don't even know if Lewandowski's retired now, has he? So, but
There
no,
we go. There's
the squad in full. So I think the only wee gripe that the Rangers fans might have, I think Connor Barnes had a really good season. So far, I think he can count himself a little bit unlucky not to be involved, but you've heard people clamouring for Ryan Gold for ages. So, and it's good to see an ex-Motherwell man and Max Johnson getting his call up as well.
Regan, any surprises from you in that squad, or is it just like for like?
Michael, I'm glad to see that he's thrown in Gold from him playing down in the MLS, because I'm like, I know people were saying that like that was his big chance a few years ago, but I'm glad that Steve Clarke's finally shown his hand and he threw him in, because I think it's about time to try some new players because I was fed up when we were bringing like Tommy Conway and James Forrest in for the Euros, and me and Stephen and you were saying, "Oh, it's great to see James Forrest in," but James Forrest never played one single minute at the Euros. I think it's about time that we see some brand new players playing for Scotland as well.
Stephen, I think the only one that stood out to me was Ryan Porteous in terms of like we were only 55 minutes or whatever into the gym in the game, and they make it was the first half, I think it was, that he gets sent off, and I know that we were up against getting Germany, but do you think that the fans has forgiven him now? Obviously Stevie Clark's forgiven because he's in the squad, but do you think that it's going to be a case of if he makes one bad pass, the fans will get on his back next week, or?
No, I think we almost need to kind of forget what's happened in Germany and kind of move on from it. I mean, I know I was vocal in saying that I think Steve Clark should have been dismissed. I think we had a big discussion on here about that, actually. There was a wee bit of debate. But now I think Steve's in the job. Steve's going to be given the World Cup qualifiers, so it's important that we get behind him in the team now, and we don't keep a level of toxicity that you might have seen with England supporters towards Gareth Southgate. I think we need to kind of get right behind Steve Clark again, and I'm hoping that he proves me wrong. But I know you asked me about Ryan Porteous there, but I think football players make mistakes. It happens in games. Ryan Porteous is a good defender. We know he's got a red card in him for his time at Hibs, but let's just kind of wipe the slate clean and kind of move on and really attack these Nations League games. Obviously, if the World Cup seeding for the qualifying works out being Nations League dependent, then we could find ourselves as a pot one team, which could be massive, especially with more places opening up, more World Cup spots opening up. We could find ourselves with a slightly easier group. But no, I think we need to get behind Steve. One thing that I want to see, though, as I've said in my previous answer, is us to have another way of playing. I think it's so important.
Reagan, you're going to the game on Thursday night. Are you expecting a full house?
No, Michael, I'm not expecting a full house because simply I don't think the Nations League will be as appealing to certain supporters, and also Stephen saying that we don't want the toxicity over Steve Clark like Southgate. I still think there's a portion of supporters that they felt that was the best group we were going to have in a long, long time at championships, and they still feel a little bit not in a great way with Steve Clark. Stephen, I still feel like there's some fans there that still feel as if he should have been more progressive, more attacking, more able to go, right, I'm going to play James Forrest, I'm going to play Tommy Conway, because everybody was so happy to see Tommy Conway in the squad and see something different, but then he never once thought, I'm going to play him.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Especially when Tommy comes on, I think it was the friendly against Finland, has a great chance. And all right, he never scored, but to not see these players again, and for Shankland to only come on with about 20 minutes to go against Hungary, Forrest not to get a minute. We ended up with Kenny McLean playing at fullback at one point. It kind of just summed up how much a mess the tournament was. And I agree with what you're saying, Regan, that some fans are kind of on Clark's back. And I understand why, because I felt like it was a huge missed opportunity against Hungary, having performed so well against Switzerland. Germany was always going to be a tough opening game against the host nation. So I kind of had wrote that one off before going into it, even though I hadn't said that publicly. It was kind of a try to keep myself optimistic. But after the Switzerland game, I had a real air of confidence. I thought we're going to go and we're going to take Hungary. Hungary weren't in the best of form. They'd lost a friendly to the Republic of Ireland before the tournament. So I was fully confident that we could go and get a result. But obviously, I just think the way that we approached the game, it never transpired that way. felt that we were too pedestrian, passing back side to side. There was nobody willing to pass through the lines, nobody willing to run beyond. And we need to see the Scotland side that had the energy see that energy that we had against Spain, where we were brilliant. That's the Scotland we need back.
And Norway as well, you would say. You know.
Yep. To turn the game round against Norway, you're spot on.
Especially away from home as well. You know, because you know, like you know, to win the game in the last kick of the ball. But Reagan, like I know in hindsight we like look back, we shouldn't look back in the Euros as well. But like a lot of people saying about Shankland, Good Forrest, and all that should have had game time at the Euros. But I agree. But nobody mentions Stuart Armstrong because he can still do a job.
I can still do a job. I'm sure he's one player that has moved to Brentford, I think I'm right in saying. So he's somebody that he's still got that. Well, of course, he's getting a bit older, but he's still got that energy there, and he's still got that chance where he can score from open play. And obviously, Stuart Armstrong was the big talking point that Steve Clarke spoke about after the game. He spoke about the referee, he spoke about Stuart Armstrong, and then Stephen did a great interview with the two referees talking about that incident as well.
Right.
So I mean, so I think Stuart Armstrong's got a big part to play. But I think in this next part of the cycle, I'm looking forward to seeing people like I don't know, Ben Doak, people like that are going to be Sean's next gen, if you like that. They're going to be there for the next 10 to 15 years, and we're going to see them do really well.
So there we go. That's Scotland. Talking about Scotland, a note for your diary. We won't be on it Friday because we'll be on Thursday night. Hopefully talking about a Scotland victory at home against Poland. So next Thursday night we'll be on between 6 and 7 for the build-up of the game, and hopefully speaking to a journalist from Poland. So there you go. That's it, Thursday. And also we'll be on after the game between 10 and 11. No show on Friday, but however, we'll be back on Sunday for the Scotland game. Sometimes put it in your diary or whatever, or your smartphones. I think I'm the only person that uses a paper diary now, Stephen. Even my mum uses mobile phones, and like, you know, I'm a bit of a dinosaur. But anyway, no comment from Stephen and Reagan on that one. So we'll be on Sunday night, and also we'll be going on to talk about European football, and we'll be on for the Celtic, Rangers and Hearts games in the next couple of weeks here on the Locker Room. More details to come. Big plans we have for that show as well. Looking forward to that one. Okay, let's kick off with let's begin with the Champions League draw. That was made last night at 5 o'clock. I unfortunately never saw the draw. Before we talk about the who Celtic's got at home and away, and I never saw the whole draw, guys. But what did you make of the new format?
I love the new format. I love the way that the draw was done. I think pressing the button, seeing the fixtures pop up, it's really good. And I think it's great to see teams not playing each other twice, because I think you almost get a feel of what's going to happen in the second leg with the second fixture by the time that you've seen teams play each other once. So it's good that every game's going to be different. Michael, I've got Celtic's fixtures from start to finish and the dates here if you want them.
Yeah, on you go.
They start with Young Boys at home on the 18th of September. They then go away for the Battle of Britain against Aston Villa on the 1st of October. They're then at home on the 23rd of October to Bruges before going away to Dortmund on the 5th of November. that's the first 4 games out the way. The last 4, the 27th of November, they're away to Dinamo Zagreb, before a double tie at home. Firstly, Slovan Bratislava on the 10th of December, followed by Leipzig at home on the 22nd of January, and then they finish with Atalanta away on the 29th of January. And I want to come to Regan. Regan, as a Celtic man yourself, what is your immediate thoughts in that draw? You must be relatively happy because you think of some of the teams that you missed to come up with some of the fixtures that you got.
Stephen, it's a very, very good draw, man. I mean, like in terms of the draw, I think I don't really know how the kind of format's going to go. I mean, but if you look at that, I mean, Celtic have got 4 home games. I think all of the 4 home games, Celtic can easily get 3 points in those games. No disrespect to all of the opposition they're playing, but if you look at the pot 1 and pot 2 teams that they got, they probably couldn't ask for a better draw there, Stephen.
Yeah.
And then you go down to pot 3. You've got Dinamo Zagreb, Atalanta. I mean, of course, Atalanta, a very difficult pot 3 team. They won the second competition last year against Bayern Leverkusen, so it's going to be difficult. But you could have got a lot more difficult ties than that. And then you go to the John Derby. Obviously, he's a big Celtic supporter. John playing for Aston Villa, so it's going to be great. Obviously, that'll bring some bad memories back for Brendan Rodgers as well, because he tried to sign him to go to Celtic. So no, it's good. I think it's going to be a great. I think it's going to be a great few matches for Celtic.
Stephen, how weird is it to see? Because obviously in Scotland, most of the teams out by Christmas. But how weird would it be to see the Champions League after Christmas as well?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think obviously you get 2 games going into January there, so if Celtic are in a position where they need a couple of results, they might, and they'll obviously know their squad better by that point. We know the wealth of money that they're bringing in through this Champions League, and having just sold Matt O'Reilly, they can actually add to their squad. I don't know if the registration window might stop them from playing. In fact, that's something that I'll need to research up on. But I think it's good, as I say, because the games look more spaced out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to see kind of 8 different fixtures, and then you get the playoff round between teams placing 9th and the 24th, with the top 8 going through and the rest going out. It's a really good format. And no, some of the, you just take a look at some of the ties elsewhere that you're seeing across the board. I think did Liverpool get Real Madrid? Am I right in saying that? So
I've not saw the whole draw yet.
So what is it?
I am saying they got Real Madrid, yeah.
So there you go. That just shows you when would you ever see those ties so early in the competition? That's the kind of a things that is thrown up. So no, I'm a big fan of it and looking forward to it starting.
I just wanted to make a comment. I never saw this comment until 2 minutes ago. Saw the TJ on YouTube. He is a big he or she is a big St Mirren fan, and they were saying it's good to see Gold and Morgan called up, 2 amazing players. Yes, they are. So yeah, hopefully they'll get on in first night as well. But yeah, I mean the Champions League ring. Am I right in saying, guys, that they won't be any winter break this year then?
Yeah, Michael, you're spot on.
Yeah.
Well, no break for anybody.
I don't know about you, but that's one bonus of having the Champions League rig, and that we don't have to sit at home and paint the house about twice.
Aye, definitely. I mean, it's always a bit boring when it's snowing and all that, Michael, and you're thinking, is it going to be a pretty boring few weeks. So, yep, it'll just be great to have football back.
Yeah, no, exactly. And as I suppose asking for that as well, Battle Britain, as well. So there you go. Okay, so that's the Celtic drawing the Champions League and get all kicked off in a few weeks' time. Let's have a look at the Rangers draw. That was made at lunchtime today in the Europa League. Before we
Who's
do
that?
we
Got a flight there, Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Graham is wearing a black armband today. I don't know why you're wearing a black armband. Maybe is it a black armband or maybe it's something else. Anyway, so we'll talk about Hearts in a minute. I'll give Graham a minute or two to compose himself. And I've got the bleep button on standby if we do need to. In fact, I think I'll just press it right now. So we'll look at Rangers in the Europa League. That was made today. And I mean, I can't believe this, Stephen. I mean, Battle Britain by Celtic and 2 battles of Britain for Rangers as well. And Postecoglou is coming to, is coming to Ibrox.
It's arguably a tougher draw than what Celtic have in the Champions League, isn't it? I mean, you've got Tottenham at home, Man United away. I don't see them getting anything against Lyon. They're not going to go to Greece and win. The only 2 games for the 3 there against Union, St Gilloise, Malmo, and Steaua Bucharest are the games that I would be looking to attack if I was Rangers. But the other fixtures are really difficult. And on one hand, that's terrible because you're obviously looking to progress with the competition, but some great ties in there. Some great ties. And you've obviously got Ange Postecoglou coming back to Scotland, so I'm sure he'll get a frosty reception at Ibrox. And listen, they're going to be great to watch. And again, it speaks for how good the new format is in these competitions with no teams playing each other twice, because this is what you get.
Graham, obviously you've just come on the show. What's your take on the new format of the Champions League, but also the Europa and in fact all the European competitions? What do you think it makes it look better for the game?
I like it. Something different. We're too used to playing the same teams like twice in a group phase. I think the fact we're playing one of them at home and away, I think it's a good thing. And I quite liked it last night. It was a lot quicker. It was a lot smoother. I saw a lot of folks saying they were confused by it. I don't know what's confused about. It's pretty simple, I'll be honest. But I quite like it. I hope they stick to that, because I actually think for the first time, actually quite good. I was impressed with it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And looking forward to Rangers in Europe as well, Graham. I mean, Tottenham and Man United, I mean, you can't get any better juicy ties like that. I mean, looking at that group, guys, right, I don't know what it says to you, but it smells of Champions League as well.
To quote Steve Clark, bye Rangers. They're not getting through that. That is, I mean, if you want glamour ties, you've got them, but there's no chance of getting out of that. That is a really, really hard group. I know Stephen's right about the fact that they've got a harder group than Celtic. They do. I mean, I've watched Man United the last couple of games. I don't think they've been that great, but I don't see them beating Man United, and they are very, very difficult fixtures. Even looking at Nice away, that won't be easy. No. They've got a very, very hard run of fixtures there.
Yeah, and you could even narrow it down to Malmo and Olympiacos. Both of these places are absolute cauldrons to go to. Olympiacos just won the Conference League last year, and Malmo, that place will be bouncing as well. And with Rangers were only getting the one defender in, but the looks at it today for Feyenoord, I don't even think. I had a mate that said to me, "We can do well here." He's a Rangers fan. We beat better teams than what we've been drawn against in Europe. And my immediate argument was, yes, but he's had a much better team. Rangers don't have the squad to compete with the teams that they're facing. And the atmosphere at Ibrox can only go so far.
Yep. Regan, how crucial is it for Rangers to get back in Ibrox because by the time, I'm not sure when the competition starts for Rangers, but I presume it's in the same week as all the other teams as well. But how close would it be to get back in Ibrox and get a few games out the way first before they come up against that opposition?
I think it is so important, Michael. I know they're talking about in the press that Rangers were back for the Viaplay Cup match against Dundee in a few weeks. So they'll be hoping that they can be in there and be sold. So no, I think it's so important. But I think Stephen makes a very good point in terms of. See, I think the Rangers squad nowadays is not that great at the moment. I mean, I heard a Rangers podcast guy on talking about that Dessers is going to be a Rangers legend and all this stuff. And as much as Alfredo Morelos got a lot of criticism and all stuff like that, and so did a lot of the other guys. Alfredo Morelos was scored so many goals in Europe, and he did amazing for Rangers. So I just feel like the squad the Rangers have got now is not up to the standard that they need to be. I think especially now that Rangers have they've not got any sellable assets now that they can really try and sell someone and bring in some players to help the manager, because the only sellable asset is Jack Butland. So I think he's the only one that they can really say, and I think the manager's already said he's the only player that's no for sale.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, Malmo is not a pushover, because am I right in saying Rangers played Malmo a couple of years ago, or was it? Oh no, it was Celtic, wasn't it, in the Champions League?
No, they played Malmo and is it Maribor in a qualifier as well, Michael? You're right there.
Maribor,
yeah, 2021 it was.
Yeah, every time, I don't know about you, Graham, every time I hear the word Maribor, I always think of the advert, the sun always shines when it pours. I don't know. Are you as old as me, Graham? Or can you remember that advert? No?
Unfortunately, I think I'm probably older than you, to be honest, which is worrying.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I like about Graham, Stephen. It's too honest at times.
I know. Wait till I talk about Hearts.
Yeah, I know. That's coming up at 5 to 8 tonight.
As long as you both keep the singing to a minimum, I'll be happy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the European draw for Celtic and Rangers. We'll come back to speak about the big derby in a minute. And I'm not talking about Celtic and Rangers, by the way. Haha. Packet Fish from Queen's Park. Graham, I want to ask you about the Hearts in European football. It's a bonus that you're scouring Europe after last night's performance, but you were at the game. How was your take on the 90 minutes? Very, I would say, maybe disappointing from Hearts' point of view.
I feel like Big Brother. This is Davina. Please do not swear. I'm going to try and keep that down. The atmosphere was outstanding. The atmosphere at the start of the game was brilliant, and most of the way through. My laddie was there, his first European game. He really enjoyed it. It was very loud at the start, but that was about the only positive I could take. The performance was terrible, and I knew when I saw the lineup it was going to be poor. No Shankland means no goal scorer. We had no creativity. We didn't start Spittle. We didn't start Dander. We didn't start Barry Mackay. We only had Vargas was the only real attacking threat we had. Liam Boyce, how he lasted 72 minutes, I've got no idea, because he was dreadful last night. His touch was awful. He won nothing in the air. He was awful. Defensively, we were fine until we lost the goal. Really poor goal to lose, but we had no threat going forward at all. We were so unbalanced and so predictable. I knew after about 10 minutes how that game was going to go. They were happy to sit with a 1-0 lead going, come and break us down then, and we had no idea how to do it. Gerald Taylor against Rangers was brilliant playing a 4. Now we're playing a 3 and he's playing as a wing back. He can't do it. He's been awful the last few games. But that last night, again, was down to Stephen Naismith. His tactics, his system, it was absolutely horrendous. And I don't think Pilsen were that good a side. After being that impressed with them over the 2 legs, I don't think they were that good side. We should have beaten them. And a better Hearts side wins that game. Generally, I thought we were awful last night. We had one shot on target, and that was in the second half. And it took him till about 66 minutes to make a change. That was crying out for a change at half-time. It was awful. And, I mean, the system that he keeps playing is 3 at the back. I don't know how often I say this. It doesn't suit us. It doesn't work. And last night, at home, in a game you have to win, he was so negative. And I put it on Twitter last night when I saw the team sheet. That's too negative. And I was right. It was awful. The only positive was the crowd. They were brilliant, but apart from that, it was dreadful.
Regan, Stephen, we were watching that at home. What was your take on it?
I completely agree with everything that Graham said, and particularly in the Liam Boyce performance. Deary me, couldn't trap a bag of cement last night, could he? It was horrendous performance from him. I just felt that Hearts' performance lacked energy. And for me, see the amount of crosses that they were putting in from really deep in the pitch, when it was just so easy for the Pilsen players to defend or the goalkeeper to come out and collect because they were very floaty. Immediately when they go to a back four, they look better because it allows them to get their fullbacks higher up the pitch. It was clear to anybody watching it that changes were needed, not after 65 minutes, but at half time. And Stephen Naismith waits to 65 minutes. I know that when the changes are made, they concede the goal, but that's because of, one, Cammy Devlin not playing forward when he was in acres of space, and then 2, Frankie Kent trying a really ambitious switch that got them caught out. But a real missed opportunity there for Hearts because Pilsen were really, really poor, but Hearts just created nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'd like to see Spittle again. I know Graham screamed for this, but I'd like to see him more advanced and maybe even given a start just in behind a striker. And I don't understand. I know he was injured last night, and I know I'd mentioned this, but I don't understand the thought process in playing Lawrence Shankland deeper. It is absolutely baffling to me why you would take a striker that has scored nigh on 50 goals in 2 seasons and put him in a deeper role, because he's not a Harry Kane. He's not somebody that can thread the ball through an eye and needle and technically get a great way to pass. Lawrence Shankland scores goals. That's it. Why play him deeper? I know he was injured, but I just felt that last night was maybe crying for a different approach for Hearts and a 4 at the back. It was evident because they've been playing a similar system against us, and we all know how that worked out for them. Sorry, Graham. Just had to get that in.
Oh, it's true.
But so if everybody watching can see that it needs to be changed, why can the man who's qualified to do the job not see it? That to me is worrying.
Paul Donaldson makes a comment there. 3 at the back sounds like Naismith is doing the exact same as Barry Robson last season.
He is, and it's not working. Anyone can see that. I mean, it is so painfully obvious that we can't play 3 at the back. My laddie is 12-year-old, and even he said last night, why are Hearts playing 3 at the back? That's a 12-year-old can see that. I don't know how Stephen Naismith cannot see that the system does not work. We are so open. We don't look like creating anything last night. I felt sorry for Vargas last night. He was the only real one that was working and actually doing anything up front. He had no service at all. And I don't understand why he persisted in playing Liam Boyce for as long as he did. He should have been hooked at half time. He was awful. He looked so rusty. The guy can't move. I would rather have James Wilson on the park last night than Liam Boyce. He was a man down last night, but he wasn't the only one. You know, I think if you look at the goal, I mean, Stephen's right. Cammy Devlin, there's actually a pass he can make forward, but he doesn't make it. Now, whether that's been coached out of him, I don't know. But everything right now is so negative. Now, yes, we've got the fallback for Conference League, which is great. I'm happy enough to be in that. But what a chance that was last night, because that team were not a good side. And I tell you now, they will get hammered in every Europa League game because they're not a good side. And we had a chance last night to actually make a bit of history, and we blew it. Or Stephen Naismith blew it with those stupid tactics. And the worry for me is, after the game last night, Stephen Naismith was asked about transfers today, and he said he's not expecting to be busy. If we don't bring a striker in by 11 o'clock, that's negligent. We don't have Lawrence Shankland. We've got nothing else up front. He's talked about a couple of days ago that he's happy with what he's got. James Wilson, 17, he's not going to start. Musa Drame has already said as a project, he's not going to start. Yutaro Oda's been here 2 seasons and scored 7 goals. He's not good enough. And we saw what Boyce did last night. We have to bring a striker in by 11 o'clock. If we don't, I think we're going to struggle this season. And I can see that. I don't know how Naismith can.
Can I ask a question, Graham? How long until question marks are started to be asked of Stephen Naismith's position? Because I know that he's finished third last season with the highest points tally since Rangers in 2018. But everybody's talked about how good a squad Hearts have got, the depth that they've got in it. How long will he be given to get the best out of this squad?
The thing is, he's not long been given a new contract after that Rangers game, which I find baffling, to be honest. You know, why would you give him a new contract after that game? So I don't think we can actually afford to sack him now. But I've already said I think he'll get the first round of fixtures before we start to get panicking. But having looked at the fixtures before I came on here, after United on Sunday at home, we then have to go to Celtic Park and we've got to go to Paisley. In that run of the next 9 games, we've got Aberdeen, St Mirren twice and Hibs in there. That's worrying for a team that's not winning games. I am genuinely concerned about where we're going this season. I gave, like every fan, I gave it bravado start the season saying Hearts have got the third best squad, we'll finish third. I changed my opinion on that now. We are not going to finish third. By tomorrow afternoon, Aberdeen could go 11 points ahead of us after 4 games. And we're not catching that up. Aberdeen, the thing that worries me most is Aberdeen, after only a few games, look, they've got a game plan under Thielen. I can pretty much tell you what most teams' game plan is. I don't know what ours is. It's so slow. It's so predictable. It's so negative. And I saw a guy on Twitter that I quite like, a guy called Scott McIntosh, who does a lot of Hearts stuff. He actually put on Twitter a few days ago how to play against Hearts. 1, give them the ball. 2, sit back. And he's right. That's all you've got to do because we can't break them down. We've got no pace in that team. I think Stephen said about energy yesterday. It was sadly lacking apart from in the stands. It was awful. And I think Sunday's a massive game. If we don't beat Dundee United, we're getting nothing out of Celtic and St Mirren. So it might be panic stations a lot earlier than I thought.
Let's have a look at who Hearts. They might want to look away at this point. I don't know. Let's have a look at who Hearts has been growing in the Conference League. The Globus make this afternoon. That's it there. Graham, confident?
No, not now. I'm not. There's not a lot of glamourtising there. I kind of, for a laugh, would have wanted Chelsea. But Copenhagen away, it's not a bad trip. Bruges away from home, not a bad trip. Obviously, come on and know all about those 2 teams. I think if we were on decent form, we've got a chance to win a few of these games, especially the home games. Omonia Nicosia from Cyprus, Heidenheim from Germany, and Petro Club from Moldova. I think a decent Hearts team wins those games. But right now, I'm not confident in anything. Dynamo Minsk, Belarus, I don't know if the game will be in Belarus, though. But there's winnable games in there. If we could get a form going. But the worry is, I don't see where the win's coming from. I'm more worrying, I don't see where the goal's coming from. We've played 6 games this season. We've conceded 10 and scored 2. I don't see where we're scoring goals from.
That's bad. So there we go. That's the Hearts draw. We'll come back to talk about Hearts in a minute because they've got a big game on Sunday against Dundee United. Graham will be going as well to that one. But let's go back to domestic matters, guys, and look at the games for the weekend. Then we'll kick off tomorrow, but we kick off on Sunday because it's only one show in Cowan. Yes, it's Packet Thistle against Queen's Park, and the second biggest is Celtic and Rangers. Maybe I've got that back to front. I'm not sure. So that's again there. Sunday, Celtic Rangers. We'll come back to talk about this games in a minute. Hearts, Dundee United, Kilmarnock, Hibs, and on Saturday at Ross County, Aberdeen, St Johnstone, Motherwell, and Dundee St Mirren. That's the games of the weekend then. So let's go back to talk about the games on Sunday. And there's only one man to bring in. Reagan and Celtic Rangers half-12 kickoff on Sunday. What's your thoughts ahead of this game?
I think it's going to be a great game, Michael. I think Celtic are in whole place to win that game. I don't know when the last time Rangers won at Celtic Park. It was probably during the...
I think it was actually... Was that not during Steven Gerrard's time when they won the game at New Year?
No, I think it would probably be during COVID. But
It was Tavernier and Cameron Twelve score, but I think it was 2-1 at Celtic Park.
Yep. I just don't see any way where Rangers do themselves justice in this game. I just think Celtic will overrun them. I mean, Schmeichel's been great. It'd be nice to see him actually make a save this week. He's been sitting on a deck chair for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I mean, I just don't see where Rangers have got the firepower to beat Celtic. Obviously, you've got Dessers who scored against Celtic last season when at Celtic Park and that. But I just see Celtic. I just see Celtic by 2 or 3 goals. And obviously, we spoke about earlier in the show that Celtic are looking to bring in free players today. So, so I see two midfielders in the centre back. He'll be unveiled as well. So I just think Celtic will be in a great shape. Michael, I don't see any way that Rangers will be able to cope with Celtic.
Graham, Stephen, what's your thoughts ahead of this game?
Can I just come in with a bit of breaking news? Before I get my thoughts on this, Motherwell have just completed the signing of Jair Tavares, who you may recognise from Hibs last season. He's just joined Motherwell. I don't quite know. I think it's a loan deal. Jair Tavares joins on loan. I'm just obviously trying to get the ins and outs of that, whether it's a 6 month or to the end of the season. But another winger in for Motherwell, perhaps hinting at a change of style for us. So I'm happy with that. But if I can go on to the game now, I don't see a way in which Rangers get anything from it. I think you just need to look at the way that Celtic have started the season. I mean, they lose O'Reilly. Bernardo comes in last week, and from what I'm told, yes, I was at a music festival last week, but from what I'm told it was a seamless kind of a transition, if you like, between the two. They've signing Arne Engels today for the 11 million. Austin Trusty's coming in, and with the looks at Luke McCowan's coming in as well, only making Celtic even more stronger. So no, I just don't see a way in which Rangers can get anything from this, and I think Rangers basically need to focus on keeping the score down. And if I'm a Rangers fan, I'm delighted with a point.
Graham, do you think most Celtic fans will be getting off their boards back now? Because obviously, I don't know if you saw the video from last Sunday that Peter Lawwell was going into St Mirren Park, and I want to tell you what one of the fans say. Let's just say it was nice and colourful for a shot on a Friday night. There you go, Friday. If you don't get that F word, anyway. Do you think the fans will get off their boards back now because they've bought a couple of players?
I'm going to get hated for this, but doesn't matter. I think, and I've said this before, I think some Celtic fans are very self-entitled. Celtic win everything. They win every trophy. They get Champions League football. They win absolutely everything. And then when they don't sign a player, they start moaning about it. They're a successful club. They win the league every year. They win all the cups. And as soon as things don't go the way, they throw the toys at the pram. Now, I don't think it matters if Celtic signed anyone else or not. I think they're still going to lead by about 25 points. I don't think it matters. But yeah, I think they probably will get off the boards back now until something else goes wrong and they start moaning again. But that's just what some Celtic fans are like. Not all of them, but some of them. I think they're very self-entitled, given the fact they win everything. But I also saw today that there's interest potentially I don't know how true this is, in ex-Hearts player Andy Irvine, who is a West Ham, which is mental. Never thought I'd see the day that Andy Irvine for West Ham.
He was talked about, but West Ham are no willing to let him go, so they've now switched their attention to Dundee.
Fair enough. I mean, I actually thought McKeown would end up at Hibs, because I think Hibs have had 3 bids rejected. I thought eventually we'd go to Hibs, but if Celtic get McKeown, it's a good signing, because I think McKeown's a cracking player, someone I would love at Hearts. But I think just in terms of the game, again, I agree with the guys. I don't see anything else than a Celtic win. They've started the season very well. I know that Rangers won 6-0 last week, but it was against a very poor Ross County side. Dessers is in a bit of decent form. I know that they've managed to get a few players off the books. Todd Cantwell and that being one of them, who I don't rate anyway. But I just don't see any way that Rangers are going to be strong enough. I think my prediction is 3-1 at Celtic. I think Celtic, I've said it before, I think Celtic could go the season unbeaten. I don't see who's beating them. They look far too strong. Obviously, what the senders are going to make, they'll just get stronger. I think it's going to be a long season for everyone else, and Celtic will just fly off into the sunset and win another title.
There you go. That's my next question. So, Stephen Graham's the cat's at the bag now. I was going to say, can you make a case for Rangers winning the game? But I'm sure, like, if you would maybe ask any Rangers fans, they would just be delighted at a point at the moment.
Yeah, I think they would, particularly with the lack of transfer activity and what was supposed to be a rebuild for Rangers. I think everybody connected with Rangers support wise has been underwhelmed by the activity that they've done. You see to me that's the big difference that between Celtic and Rangers is the transfer policy. I think I seen a tweet today. There was 10 players that Rangers had let go in. Amongst that was Cholak, Kent, Morelos, Cantwell, to name a few. And Celtic get more for Mikey Johnson than Rangers got for all these players put together. That shows you the difference in transfer policy. What I think Celtic do really well is when they know that they're losing someone, they've got targets identified already. You've seen that with the introduction of Arne Engels, who's a real hot prospect and is young as well, so he's got time to develop. It's good to see players like Luke McKeown, if he goes there, going there, but I'm hoping that he gets game time, because we've seen it in the past with the likes of Scott Allen, where these players sign for Celtic and Rangers and they just end up nowhere near the team, and it has a real impact on their career. So, but on the other hand, that's a tough one for Dundee. I just think Celtic, as Graham says, will go the season unbeaten and even could finish the season over 100 points easily. I think they're that much stronger than everybody else in the division.
As for Rangers going into the game, Graham, how do you think that they've approached this game?
Probably cautiously. I think they have to. I think they'll be very cautious that Celtic will go out for them right for the first minute, and they can't afford to concede early. You know, if they concede early, I think they'll just collapse. They need to try and stay in the game as long as they can. Now, like I said, I think Dessers has started the season all right so far, but this is a different game now. You know, they haven't really played anyone yet. We should have beaten them in the first game of the season, to be honest, and then we've just fallen off a cliff since then. But going to Celtic Park in front of that crowd, they're going to have to do something special, and I just don't see what they do. I just think Celtic will be far too strong. I think there's pressure. I think there's pressure on Clermont. You know, they can't afford to lose another game against Celtic, but I think they will. I can honestly see Celtic winning this comfortably, and if Celtic get an early goal, I think the Rangers fans will start going, "Oh, this could be 4 or 5 here." I think it'll be 3-1, but I just don't see any way Rangers winning that.
Stephen, do you think most of the Rangers fans will be a bit annoyed how this game has came forward so quickly this season? Because obviously the first derby is usually maybe say September, October time, but it's came a bit early. But in terms of like the way that Rangers are playing, and they've been knocked out the Champions League and everything that's been going on at Ibrox, and they've been playing at Hampden, and the supporters are not very happy. Do you think that will play a part in that on Sunday?
I don't think they would have been too disgruntled had they not dropped points at Hearts, had they done some activity in the window, had they been playing at Ibrox. I think these have all been factors at how disgruntled Rangers fans have been. and rightfully so. I just honestly, it's like night and day between Celtic and Rangers at the minute. And I know what you're saying about the fixture coming around so early. If I was being pernickety, I could argue that it is in September because Sundays are first. But no, I'm not going to do that. But again,
Well,
you're saying that. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. They could find themselves 5 points behind after only 4 league matches. So that's it's no good. But then again, as I've said, I can see it being 18-19 easy. I just I don't hold out any hope for them at all.
I think the worrying thing, if I was a Rangers fan, is forget about Celtic. They could be about 5 points behind Aberdeen as well if Aberdeen win tomorrow, which they will.
It's true because Aberdeen play tomorrow. You see there, they play up against Ross
County away.
And I forgot to say that's a 5:30 kickoff as well. So it's good to see another game on TV. And Aberdeen, I don't know if Paul Donaldson's he's watching the show, but I don't know if he's going. But Aberdeen take a brilliant support down to up to Dingwall, so should be a decent game. But we'll go on and speak about that in a minute. But Regan, your final word to you on this game on Sunday.
My prediction, Michael, is 4-0 to Celtic. I just think they'll blow Rangers away. I just feel like it'll be a lot of pressure on Rangers. I think that the fact that there'll be no supporters there again as well will make a massive difference. I think we've not really seen Tavernier kind of light up this season yet, so I don't really know where Rangers are scoring there. If they're going to score, who's going to score? But I can see them possibly getting a goal from Dessers, but I think Tavernier's not looking as potent this season so far, so I think I'll say 4-0 to Celtic, Michael.
Well, he's not had many penalties, so how can it be potent?
Very good, yeah. So that Celtic and Rangers on Sunday, 12:30 kickoff. Paul Donaldson.
I'll go 4-0 as well, by the way, Michael. I'll go 4-0 as well.
Graham?
I've said 3-1 Celtic.
3-1. Okay, I must have messed up one as well. Paul Donaldson says, before we get on to talk about the other game or the other games on Sunday, he says, I'm going to the game, not a great kickoff time for public transport. Have to take the car. To be quite fair to the people of Dingwall, the public transport is never very good up there. But yeah, I get your point and all that. But you know yourself, it's for TV as well. If it wasn't on TV, it would be a usual kickoff and a wet sacky afternoon. Sorry, Paul, I know you're going up there. Enjoy the game. Moving on to the next game then. And over the past couple of weeks on the show, they have been they've been interesting kind of games, and this could be another interesting one. Sorry, Graham, not because Graham's going to the game, but it's because Dundee United is coming to Tynecastle on Sunday.
If you're Jim Goodwin, you should be rubbing your hands at this because we are in such a bad form just now. If you've got a chance to come to Tynecastle and take 3 points, this is it. You know, I think United have looked all right so far. They've looked quite steady. They've got a threat up front with a guy Trapanovsky. I think they look quite settled at the back. This is a game that United can look forward to. And after European games, always a worry for me as well. We've seen it with Kilmarnock, seen it with Hearts over the couple of seasons. This is a tough game, a very, very tough game. And I think if United have got any chance to win at Tynecastle, this is it. Because we look very, very poor. We look very flat. I've just spoken about the fact we need another striker in. Whether Shanklin's fit for Sunday, I don't know. But this is a tough game. Every game just now is tough for Hearts. We make every game look really tough. But yeah, I am going. My lad is coming with me as well for this one, and I'm not confident based on the last few games. I'm really not. But we have to start picking up form because, like I said, the next 2 games after this are Celtic away and St Mirren away. We've got to start picking up points. If we don't win on Sunday, Stephen Naismith might be under more pressure than he probably thinks he is, but I'm genuinely not confident for this after yesterday.
Do you think the only thing that you would take out the game on Sunday, Graham, before the game is the game at home? And obviously, you'll have the 12 man, including you and your wee boy, so that's 13. Told you I was good at maths. And, you know, if the game was away from home, it would be much kind of more difficult after a European hangover, even though I know it's stupid saying a European hangover and you're still in Europe, but you know what I mean.
Well, I thought you'd home advantage back up this last night and it made no difference. It should do, but I worry after last night that the crowd's going to be flat on Sunday. You know what kind of crowd or what kind of atmosphere we're going to get. And I noticed somebody yesterday after about 85 minutes, chucked his scarf on the park. Now I'm not for that at all. You know, I think that's really, really poor. There's no need for that at all. Yes, it's frustrating. We're all frustrated, but you didn't do things like that. And I just think that there's a real malaise in the club just now. Now, after the first game of the season against Rangers, I thought, yeah, we could do well this season. And it's just gone totally flat. We don't have a sporting director because Joe Savage has left and not been replaced yet. I don't know what Frankie McAvoy and Gordon Forrest are doing. I think it needs somebody a bit more experienced to kind of help Naismith out and actually tell him, look, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. He's showing his lack of experience in most games. Now, he turned it around last season, so I think he's got credit in the bank, but he needs to turn it quickly. I'm just not convinced it's going to turn very quickly with the games we've got coming up. Now, I'm hoping the home advantage will get up on Sunday, but if we lose the first goal on Sunday, then I worry what that crowd's going to be like. It'll be poisonous.
And it's going to be a long couple of weeks as well, Glenn, because if you don't get anything out of the game, then you've got to sit and waiting for 2 weeks, and then you go to Celtic Park. I'm presuming that, a draw at the moment is not a very good score, especially at home against Dundee United.
No, it's not. No disrespect tonight. This is a game we have to win. I never thought I'd be glad for an international break already, but I kind of wish it was actually happening tomorrow because it's just, there's such a malaise around the club just now. There's so much negativity around the club as it is at the moment, and it's not going to get any better if we lose on Sunday. Now, somebody, I don't know who, some journalist or something posted this afternoon that apparently there's a board meeting on Monday to discuss Stephen Naismith's future. I don't think there's much truth in that, but if we don't win on Sunday, then pressure will start to tell, because you can tell from the crowd last night they were angry. Understandably so. It's frustration. I could see last night as well the body language of some of the players. They were shouting at each other. They were moaning at each other. It's not a happy place to be just now. And losing is a habit that we can't get out of. I was happy after the Rangers game because I thought they played quite well. And then it's just gone downhill from there. It's just been poor performance after poor performance, mistake after mistake, and no real signs of it changing. Now, if Shank comes back on Sunday, we've got a chance. But if he's not, I'm worried where the goals are coming from because we can't score goals.
Stephen Regan, what's your take on this game on Sunday?
I think Dundee United have not got a better chance of taking some of the time. So, I mean, I think Graham's made a lot of good points on his own team there, but I just watched it last night and I just felt like there was no plan there for the players. I just felt like it was just going to go out there and hope. I don't know if there's a little bit of a trust issues, or maybe it's because they brought in so many players like Spittle and Nanda, try to fit them all in the one team, but it just feels as if everyone's a bit disjointed. I don't know, but I just feel as if, okay, Naismith did well last year, but you also need to remember that Aberdeen won the great. The other teams won the great either. So, and I think this season, even though we'll get onto it, but you look at David Gray, I don't know if they'll be up there this year, but I think Dundee will be up there. I think Aberdeen will be up there. I think Derek mechanics will make his squad better. So I think it will be a difficult challenge for Stephen A. Smith this year.
What really frustrates me, and Stephen kind of mentioned it earlier, what really frustrates me, I was excited by the Blair Spittle signing. I thought this guy got 13 goals and 10 assists from Motherwell last season. He brought the best out of Theo Bair. And for some inexplicable reason, every game he's played for Hearts, Stephen Naismith is playing as centre defence midfielder, which is not his role. He's a number 10. My team last night, if Shankland had been fit, or even if he wasn't fit, was Spittle in behind either Shankland or Vargas. And what does he do last night? Sticks him on the bench. I don't know what he's doing with Blair Spittle. This is one of the most creative players in the league, along with Jan Danda, and we play them so deep. I don't know what he's doing. I don't get what he's trying to do with these players.
I'd agree. I would completely agree. And another bit of breaking news, sorry, that's why I've been on my phone trying to kind of do the transfer side of this thing. St Mirren are interested in bringing in Kevin Van Veen on loan from Groningen. So that's one that is in the pipeline for anybody's fans watching.
That'll be good,
What I have to say is there's been a fair amount of activity, hasn't there, guys, for the deadline day in Scotland?
I think St Mirren will be. I think St Mirren will be changing their name to Motherwell soon, Stephen.
There's loads of teams that have got other players now, but listen, I'm happy with the business that we've done. But if I can talk about Hearts v Dundee United, that was another good win for Dundee United last week against St Johnstone, and Craig Gordon kind of alluded to it in his post-match interview yesterday that he did with the BBC, that Hearts need to start this game very quickly, because if they don't and the game gets tight, it gets nervy, as Graham has alluded to, that will just transfer onto the crowd, and see, the longer that you go without a win, the harder it can be to come around. Trust me, I watched my team go 15 games without a win last season, and Graham will be praying that the Hearts get nowhere near that. Sometimes
we're close to it.
Sometimes you just need a scrappy 1-0, just to kind of get things moving. And I'm sure Hearts will take any win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game for them at all. And if I'm looking at it, it's a game that I can probably see finishing in a draw, 1 each, I think.
1-8, Stephen is saying on that one. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a kind of interesting game, this one, because Dundee United, the new boys coming back up, and the league and Hearts are not kind of, I know. Why do you think it is, Graham? Do you think it's because Stephen Naismith made too many changes? I mean, I go back to that Dundee game a few weeks ago.
Last season, he only kept the same team once. This season, he's changed it every week again, and it's not working. He said after the Falkirk game, he actually said that he now knows he can't afford to rotate the squad as much, yet he's still doing it. Now, I get it, if you've got injuries and suspensions, you have to change it, but I don't understand why he keeps changing many players as he does, and I do not get why he keeps going to that three at the back, because it clearly doesn't work. Stevie Wonder can see that doesn't work, but he can't see it, and I don't know why. It is so obvious. He changed it last night after about 60 minutes and went 4-2-3-1, and we looked more comfortable. We looked far better in that formation, but he keeps on changing the system. Too many players, I think, as well, aren't on form. Now, when you sign 9 players, it does take time to gel. And I think the new guys are still trying to find their feet. But it's just, he keeps changing the system, and we don't have players on form. And Lawrence Shankland's not scored a goal yet, but as Stephen said, he's playing so deep he's nearly centre-back. I don't get what he's doing. I genuinely don't. And the thing is, I keep getting asked all the time about how long would you give Stephen Naismith. If Naismith keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to sack himself, because it's not working. Nothing is working. And I don't... Last season, I was critical of Naismith at the start of the season, but they turned it round, and I was like, right, fair enough. But this season, even his interviews after games, they're so... It's the same thing every week. And you know what he's going to say. Even last night, it's again, we didn't create enough going forward. We're lacking that bit of quality. Well, you signed the players. Why are you not getting the quality out of them? I just think there's so much negativity in the club just now, and you can see that players don't look confident. Last night, one thing I don't agree with last night, although he was poor, when Liam Boyce got taken off, he was getting booed by the crowd, and I don't agree with that at all. That's not going to help. But there is so much negativity around the club just now. And if we get beat by United on Sunday, that's just going to get worse. And Stephen's right. And I say this all the time. We have to start well. We have to start on the front foot. If we are first 20 minutes, if we've not scored, that crowd will go flat. United will get a bit of confidence. All United have got to do, if I'm Jim Goodwin listening to this, put your men behind the ball and say, Hearts have the ball, and we won't score. It's clear. So obvious.
What I want to touch on, sorry, Michael, is that Liam Boyce looked to pull up with a groin injury last night going off. Is that not something that's a concern, particularly when your manager's coming out and saying that you're not going to sign another striker?
It is. I mean, Stephen Naismith said last week that he's happy with what he's got going forward. He's the only person in the club that is. Because I know for James Wilson, like I said, 17, is not going to start. Musa Drama is 22, is a project player. We've only really got Kenny Vargas and Lawrence Shankland. And if Shankland's out for any longer than maybe a couple of weeks, we've got nothing going forward. Now, you could say that other players have got to step up, and I agree with that, but we've got no striker. And if we don't bring in a striker in the next few hours, I'll be very concerned because we have nothing going forward.
Regan, I wanted to touch upon Dundee United, but Glenn makes a good point. That's twice I've said it this season, Glenn. That's my brownie points finish with you for the season then. But is it Stephen Naismith's job? Is it his job basically to lose? Because if I go back to that Dundee game, Graham, I think the game will not make 6 to 8 changes to that game against Dundee at Dens Park. So, Regan, why? I mean, usually you see this with managers quite often. They change the team and then the next game they get sacked and they say, well, why do you do it for? Just keep the same team. I mean, football is a simple game. If managers keep the same team, the same winning mentality week in, week out, but no, he makes a rug for his own back and he changes it.
And I think that can be a bad thing for the manager. I mean, you're spot on there, Michael. He made 10 changes for the Falkirk match in the Viaplay Cup. So, I mean, in terms of that, I mean, like, I don't know what you agree, but surely you must recognise that that's a big opportunity for you to win a cup, and he makes 10 changes.
See, the thing is, right, I don't know if sports science has got a lot to do with this, but I keep hearing the fact that, the players are tired and stuff. I'm sorry, I don't buy into that. You look at tennis players, they sometimes play 6 hours a day and then play the next day. I'm not buying into this thing that football players should get tired. We've only just started the season. It's not even September yet. There is no reason that these players should be tired. Absolutely no reason at all. So I think that's nonsense to come out and say, I think the players are exhausted. I'm not buying into that. Sorry, but I just don't.
I completely agree. On you go, Michael. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Graham's making another brilliant point. And I can understand individual sports, Stephen, like tennis and golf and all that. But football, it's a team game. It's like 11 players on the park. And like when you're going out to the golf course, you're on your own.
You're almost writing players in Cotton Wool now, aren't you? You see it with Philippe Clement. I think it was a couple of weeks ago in the League Cup, listening to his sports scientists and not playing certain players. For me, it's crazy, particularly at this point of the season when everybody's just getting going. I get it for players that have been at the Euros. I get it for if you're maybe saying November, December, and you've had a tough run of European fixtures and you've been playing Thursday, Sunday. I get it then. I don't get it when we're just at the end of August. I completely don't understand it. And you hear people in other podcasts talking about it that have been ex-footballers. They want to play every week. Why wouldn't you want to play every week? I just think we're in danger of wrapping footballers up in cotton wool now. And to maybe the detriment of them getting into a flow at this point of the season.
Regan, Dundee United, we haven't really spoke about them much. What do you think so far this season? I mean, it's good to see United back in the Premiership because they're a good team, well-supported team as well. But do you think that going to Tynecastle on Sunday that they're going to upset Graham and his son and a lot of other fans?
I think they've got a really good chance to, but I hope for Graham Street that they don't. But I think in terms of Dundee United, I think they've started really well. That Dundee derby was a great match on Sky a few weeks ago. Then obviously they beat St Johnstone last week. So I think Durham's a good manager. I think he just got the Aberdeen job at the wrong time, and possibly the job was too big for him. You know, he's no disrespect to St Mirren and Dundee United, but I think now he's possibly found the right sort of team for him. You know, that he can really buy the players that he likes. Because you look at people like Declan Gallagher, Louis Moult, you know, these are players that he knows from the past, and that he seems to have like doing what Neil Lennon did when he like joins other clubs. He brings in players that he knows, and I think that's a big strength for him. But I think in terms of this season, Michael, I think the big thing for them is just about staying up, and I think Jim Goodwin will be the first person to tell you that, because they've been in a bit of financial trouble in the past 2 or 3 years as well.
Okay, let's move on to the last game of the day on Sunday. It is Kilmarnock against Hibs, and very unlucky for Kilmarnock not to be in European football. However, in saying that, it's brilliant, Reagan, that Kilmarnock was in Europe again, and fans are going to the game and whatnot. For Hibs, it's a must-win game for Hibs as well, because it's funny how that people scored. You know, Stephen Naismith's only a few games away from the sack, and maybe David Gray. Okay, it's a bit early as well, but he's up against it, and Sunday against Kilmarnock, Reagan.
Yeah, he is, David Gray. He'll be getting grey hairs in the back of his neck, thinking about possibly getting his jaws in a few weeks. Because he's the same thing. I said this to Graham last week. I hear it all the time. I heard him last week talking about playing out from the back and stuff like that, and trying to play a progressive way. People in football tell you, see, once you start bringing in the scores and scoring goals and doing well, that's when you can start playing it from the back. I think too many managers these days are talking from the laptop and trying to get their iPad out and go, well, I'm going to play for the back here. I don't think he's got the players, guys. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think he's got the players to play from the back. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going to cost him his job. Also mentioned to Graham last week about the fact that the owner came out again and said that basically that if it was his choice, then he wouldn't have been the manager. You know, I think when you've got people like that from the club saying that, then it's a bad thing for the club, because of course they've appointed him now, but I think when you've got somebody high up, I know he's part of the club in terms of he's Bournemouth chairman, but he's also part of the club in terms of he's on transfer strategy on the football side as well. So I just feel like it doesn't really help him that somebody in the club thinks that he's not the man for the job.
Graham, Reagan was saying that about the manager. So I tend to agree with Reagan, because I mean, you can bring in as many managers as you want, but if you look at the Hibs side over the seasons, they've not been performing now. I know that you're going to say, well, obviously it starts with the manager, but I mean, I don't know about you as a Heart fan, and I know you might be loving this and the other side of the city and all that, but I mean, the players has not been up to the job. And I'm going back a couple of seasons now, and I was thinking about this during the week as well. I mean, David Gray, I mean, I don't know why they appointed him because he's been under about 4 Hibs managers that's got the sack. So what's going to change bringing David Gray in?
I always thought it was a risk. Same with Naismith. I always thought David Gray was a risk. Now, I don't know if it's because of the fact he's a club legend, because of what he did for winning the Scottish Cup and stuff when he served David Gray. But I always think appointing a legend's a risk. And at the moment, it's not really worked. I think he's been a bit unfortunate that his last 2 games have been against Celtic. You know, that's just a bit unfortunate, to be honest, to be what happened. But I'm not really seeing a style of play just now. You know, they're trying to play it from the back, but that's fine if you've got players that can do it. I don't think Hibs do. I think over the season they will improve. I think they will get better. But there is that division in the boardroom. You know, apparently some folk wanted Gray and some folk didn't. I don't think that's a good thing. You know, I don't think you can have that division in the boardroom. You've got to all be together, and I don't think they are. So I think if this doesn't work out, I mean, can Hibs afford to sack another manager? They just keep sacking managers like it's confetti. They can't keep appointing managers. They have to stick to somebody. But right now, it's not really working. I mean, I think Sunday's a big game because Kilmarnock obviously not started well either. Maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise throughout Europe. Though what did me get through last night? But I just think Hibs at the moment don't really have an identity. They don't have a system. And players have to take responsibility as well. You know, like Hearts players do as well. But I'm not seeing a style from David Gray yet. Now, it might come, but I just think it's a massive risk appointing him.
Stephen, what's your thoughts on the Hibs, but also what's your take on everything the guys been saying about David Gray? Do you think it's a risk, or do you think it would have been better if they kind of like look outside the box, a bit like what Celtic done with, I would say, Postecoglou? Maybe not on that scale because they've not got the financials, but just to go to the same old people every week in, week out, and you're always going to come up with the same answers.
I mean, I think it's easy to say that they've had a poor start to the season, and they have, but if you break it down fixture by fixture, they've had a tough away day at St Mirren, played Celtic twice, and then they were last week. It's kind of to lose in the last, to kind of concede that goal in the last minute the way they did is a real sucker punch for them. I think they need to give David Gray time, because they've sacked managers left, right and centre before, and if they keep doing it, then it's just going to end up that they're not going to get anything sorted. So I think you need to, with managers like David Gray, you kind of need to take a punt at some point. I think he's been around as part of the coaching staff and caretaker under so many of these managers, and I think he did enough to get himself the chance this season. But I just hope that they give him that chance and they show a bit of patience with him. It's another tough game for them on Sunday, going away to Killie on that plastic surface, and it's no easy. And it'll be interesting. Honestly, you're going to ask me for the prediction, but I really can't call this one. Either team could win it, and I don't want to be Switzerland again and go for the draw. So I'll just hold back in predicting this one.
Regan, I think Graham's actually away to apply for the Hibs job because he's away. So what's his space and see? Maybe that's the biggest transfer of the decade, maybe as well. That I think the last player had done that was Mo Johnson with crossing the divide. But anyway, let's move on from that one. And I don't know why I said that, but what do you make a case for Hibs going away on Sunday and getting all 3 points at Rugby Park, Regan?
I think it'll be very difficult. I don't really see them. You know, it's the same story every year. If Martin Boyle plays well, if Joe Newell plays well, then they've got a chance. But I did like the striker who scored against Celtic. What a header it was he scored. So I don't think overall that there'll be much for the fans to shout about. But like I say, if Martin Boyle plays well, the Hibs will play well, then I'm sure they'll get the 3 points. But this is a game for me, Michael, that I think we'll see the old Derek side, but back into action, because I think they'll start to, now that they're not the European football, they'll start to be in the team that we knew from last season.
I know that your sister plays for the women's team at Kilmarnock, Stephen. Do you make a case for Kilmarnock men's team on Sunday?
I think definitely when they're out of Europe, which Graham was kind of speaking about, it's going to benefit them because they don't have that arduous task of playing Thursday, Sunday. And I think that out of the two teams that are playing on Sunday, Kelly and Hibs, Derek McInnes has shown that he can get the best out of teams. So if anybody's going to turn it around, I think it will be Kelly. They've got a good squad. I think they're maybe a wee bit lighter than they would like to be in terms of options up front this season. So it'll be interesting to see if they try and do any business before the window closes in that front. But no, they'll get enough points to be okay and to kind of push themselves up the league. And I'm sure that their fortunes will start to turn too.
Okay, yes, our fortunes will turn too, because we're turning to Saturday now. Sorry about these kind of punts, but I'm practicing for pantomime. The Saturday night game, Paul Donaldson is away to Dingwall as we speak, I think, for the game at 6:15 tomorrow night on Premier Sports. It is Ross County against Aberdeen, and Am I surprised, Regan? Maybe not. How big a support Aberdeen takes to Dingwall in the last few games. It's been absolutely good games up there as well. But what's your thoughts on first of all Aberdeen under the new manager?
I think Aberdeen have been great to watch. Like Graham was saying, if they win tomorrow, they'll go 5 points clear of Rangers already. So I think they've had a great start. I was listening to the Aberdeen manager on Monday on Premier Sports, talking to Darrow and Michael Stewart and people like that. But yeah, and they were talking about the fact that he seems to be enjoying Scottish football, and I think sometimes he's been a breath of fresh air, Michael, because I think sometimes you can appoint the kind of usual guys in Scottish football, like Derek, Jack Ross, people like that. But where you say Jack Ross has been in many clubs, he's been sacked many times. It's about time we try something different. I don't know if you agree, Stephen, but I just think sometimes we need to see that fresh approach.
No, I agree. And I think you can see it in the way that these teams the Aberdeen have started to seem to really like to play with a purpose. And I think that's important when teams are wanting to pass the ball. It's okay to pass the ball and keep it, but are you playing with a purpose? And that's something that you're seeing with Aberdeen's playing. I tell you what, if they win on Sunday, what a start to the season that is for them. Considering where they were, kind of at the end of last season, and then on the other hand, it's been a really poor start to the season for Ross County. Then hasn't it? We're only getting the kind of 2 draws against us, Motherwell that being in Dundee United. So a big game for both teams, but I think Aberdeen will be too strong. I like the look of the boy Paul Karemi at Jensen in the middle of the park. He seems to have been a really good signing for them. Obviously, I'd like to hear Paul's thoughts on the fact that Kevin Nisbet is replacing Bojan Miovski. By the looks of things, is the new striker. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get the best out of him. And important for Kevin Nisbet as well, because he kind of needs to get his career back on track. So I think it's a good move for both parties.
I just wanted you guys take on the when we're talking about Aberdeen manager. Let's just call him Big Jimmy from Swigan. Do you think I'm talking about Motherwell and clubs like that. Do you think that I'm not saying for a minute Stuart Ketwell was going to get the bullet in the came soon, but if they do you want to see Scottish teams kind of looking outside that box for a new manager, Reagan? I'm thinking about Celtic having a punt on Postecoglou, and we saw the videos on Talk Sport about like, oh, how do you pronounce his name and all the rest of it kind of thing. And then look how good he turned out for Celtic as well. So do you think the teams like up here will be doing will hopefully be doing taking a punt from managers from other countries like Aberdeen, Scott, at the moment?
I think it's very important that they take a punt, because I think as well sometimes you need that fresh energy and not the kind of same names popping up. And I think as well that you can see the Aberdeen fans are really buying into what he's doing, and he's got a great track record in Simi Postecoglou, a great track record in Japan, and so is this guy in Sweden. So no, I'm quite open for Scottish clubs to try something different.
Stephen Paul Donaldson's answered you back because, well, he's not way to Dingwall yet. No, unless they got Wi-Fi up in Dingwall. Sorry to all the people that watches the show from Dingwall, by the way. He says, I think it might take him, take Kevin Nisbet a couple of games to get back up to speed, but hopefully he'll be okay in the end. I think that's a brilliant signing for Aberdeen, Steve.
No, it is, because he knows the league. He's back up home, so sure he'll be happy with the move. And Paul might have a point. It might take him a couple of games to get back into the swing of things, but I think if you create chances for the cycle like Kevin Nisbet, he's going to score. It'll be interesting to see whether they bring in another one. I don't think they will. I think that's mainly a straight like-for-like replacement. Not like-for-like in terms of play style, but in terms of the goal return that they're maybe hoping for from Kevin. And I'm sure he'll put that pressure on himself, taking if they get things done. But no, I think it's good bit of business for Aberdeen, and they look shoe-ins for third at this minute. And I know it's crazy to say that so early in the season, but with the start they've made in comparison to other teams that you think are going to be up there with them, then if they keep going, it's only going to be good for them, isn't it?
Reagan, I tipped Ross Kintney to go down this season. Was that a bit harsh, or have I got it on the money?
I think you've probably got it on the money. After looking at a few games, obviously I said to you the first week of the season, I thought that they've lost their best player to Dundee. They didn't really replace him. They also lost Dander to Hearts as well. So it was going to be a big chance to replace. But yeah, I think Ross County will find it definitely difficult to deal with this season, Michael. And I think they probably will go down.
I'll tell you why the only reason I'm saying that, Reagan, is because the new owner has came into St Johnstone, and from Alaska's point of view, right enough, I don't know if they've signed a lot of players in this window, but he'll be pumping money into St Johnstone as well. And then that's the only difference between the two sides. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe St Johnstone will go down this season, so the Alaska, but you know, that was more on the difference, keeping the St Johnstone up and Ross County could go down.
Yeah, I think in terms of St Johnstone, they've got a new owner who's like Alistair was saying. I know he was saying he was laughing when he was saying this. That he was talking about bringing in a new car park and trying to improve the facilities around the club as well. So hopefully in time, once he replaces all that kind of stuff, then he can actually go to football matters on the pitch, and then they can try and improve the squad, and then hopefully that'll bring in more people in to watch the club.
Okay, let's move on to the next game tomorrow on my list. Talking about Alaska and St Johnstone. They are playing Motherwell tomorrow, Stephen. I don't know if you're going up to the game or not. Are you?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah. Stuart Kettlewell was speaking to the media on yesterday. He says it's a different test away from home, but we're going into the right direction, and we're going there to look for all 3 points. And Stephen's glad that you're saying that, because that's why he's going up to the game to get all 3 points. Stephen, a good run from Motherwell, a beating Hearts last week, and then to go away from home to a difficult venue, St Johnstone tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's a game that I'm identifying as one that should be 3 points for us. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful sense to St Johnstone or Alistair. If he's listening, I just feel that with St Johnstone having one of their main threats in Adama Sidibe injured, we look as if we're going from strength to strength. We've signed a couple of players today, in Jack Vale and Jar Tavares, who will only further strengthen what we have available. And we need to look to kind of build on that performance against Hearts last week, which by all accounts, from what I'm hearing, was our best performance in a couple of years, according to some people. And the pleasing aspect as well was players like Zach Robinson seemed to put in a better performance, which is good to see, because I think so far he's flattered to deceive in the Motherwell jersey, but I think you just see the quality that Lennon Miller's got last week. I mean, 2 free kicks, one right on Paul McGinn's head, the other right on Stephen O'Donnell's head, and we kind of score from it, and then Tom Sparrow's there to kind of nick in and make it 3-1, and I think that's the pleasing thing with the amount of players that we've signed. I know there's a lot of Motherwell fans joking just now on social media that we've almost became the Chelsea of Scotland with the amount of players that we've signed in this window, but it's good to see, because I think what it gives us is it gives us options from the bench if things aren't working out for us. You get the likes of Tony Watt, who knows the club, Jack Vale, who we know what he can bring. He'll bring an energy, and that's without me even mentioning Tawanda Maswanisi, who we brought in from Leicester City, who looks absolutely electric. So we've definitely got players that can hurt teams, and the good thing that I haven't even mentioned yet is we've signed a player in Liam Gordon, who just seems to have made us so much more solid at the back, and he goes back to his former club in St Johnstone tomorrow. So it's a game I'm looking forward to, and hopefully I'll be smiling come 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Reagan, what do you think of this game? Good game.
It's a good game. Obviously, Stephen touched on St Johnstone are missing their best player probably for the start of the season, so that's probably a big bonus for the Motherwell fans travelling there tomorrow. But yeah, I think I expect Motherwell to win tomorrow as well. I just think that as much as St Johnstone did okay against Aberdeen, and then they went to Rugby Park and won as well. I just expect Motherwell to go up there and do a job on them, Michael. So yeah, but I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, I know. What do you think of? I don't think we've been on the show together this season, Stephen, or maybe I'm getting old and forgetful. But what do you think of Motherwell? The start that they've made to the season.
It's been fairly decent. I think we created a good few chances against County. Against Rangers, I thought we battered them second half.
You did a bonus again.
Jack Butland made a wonder save to stop us for kind of leaving Hampden with a 2-2 draw. So, and you take into account, Michael, the fact that we've got 7 first-team players injured. So, we've got the likes of Sam Nicholson, Apostolos Stamatopoulos, Johnny Katrombas, Callum Flaherty. No, I'm not saying it again. You got it once, you're not getting it again. Callum Flaherty, Callahan, So there's players there that are injured at the current time that are only going to make us stronger when they do come back. And if we win tomorrow, we're in a great position. Listen, I said at the start of the season, I fancied to have a good season, and everybody was kind of like, "What?" I firmly expect us to be pushing for top 6 this season, if not Europe. But as we know, the job first and foremost is to make sure that we're safe. But if we're going to do that, games like tomorrow away to St Johnstone at McDiarmid Park are games that we have to be winning, and I think we will. I think we'll win it 3-1.
As for St Johnstone, Reagan, what are you hoping for them tomorrow?
I think St Johnstone tomorrow. I don't know what I'm hoping for, Michael. I'm not really on anybody's side tomorrow, but I think it'll be a good game for people watching. I think the best part about St Johnstone is the pies. Pies up St Johnstone are actually not too bad.
Yeah,
But-
no, I was going to say that to Stephen. I recommend it, and
No, my mate actually says that. He says that St Johnston's one of the best pies in the week, so he's looking forward to that tomorrow. So I tend not to eat at football games. I just tend to save myself on my dinner when I come in. So no, but I'll just be happy with 3 points in a cola.
Yeah, no, but seriously, the pies are nice up at McDiarmid Park. That's why I took 2 the last time I was there.
2? Jeez, I thought you meant that 4 pie, man. I'm joking.
I bought 2 and come back with my bank manager. Work that one out. Anyway, so that's the game. That's the game tomorrow. St Johnstone and Motherwell. What's your take on Craig Levein, Reagan?
I think he's doing a steady job. I think the owner will probably say to him the most important thing this season is to stay up. I think he's a steady manager. It was a great result we got at Rugby Park. So I think he's a steady manager. He'll probably get the best out of these players that he's got. So I think he's probably somebody that St Johnstone know that they can rely on to if not get a playoff spot, but definitely try and stay up.
Stephen, let's look at the last game tomorrow then. Dundee against Midland. Before we talk about the game, I don't know if you guys saw this. Yesterday actually came out, and Robert's not here tonight. I was wanting to ask him about a young player that plays for St Mirren, Ethan Sunderland.
Sutherland, yeah.
So yeah, it's a way to Wolves. How concerning is that for Scottish football, Stephen? Because obviously we saw Daniel Kerry going to Millwall. We saw it in the past with players going down south. Are they going for the money aspect of the game? Because I mean, no disrespect to Millwall and teams like that, but I don't think they'll be in European competitions soon. Or Margot's been a bit harsh there.
It's a wee bit of a catch-22 in the sense that I think it's a good thing that the players are deemed good enough to be attracted for these clubs to be attracted to them, clubs like Wolves. You've seen like even Ben Doak going to Liverpool, Daniel Kelly, as you mentioned. But the concerning thing for me is if these players are that good to attract, even Wolves' B team, which is where Sutherland will probably play, right? Why can he not get game time for St Mirren while he's here? If he's deemed good enough for Wolves to sign him, why can he not get game time? And I think Stuart Kettlewell answered it brilliantly, actually, because there's that much pressure on managers to stay in the divisions now and to do their job that there's almost, I think, a reluctance unless a player is absolutely sensational to throw young players in. But I would say, look at Ewan Wilson, look at Lennon Miller, look at David Watson, just to name a few. These are players that have all come in at clubs and done really well. So I think we should be giving them a chance. I'm a big advocate for it because it happened all the time when I was growing up, and it was great to watch. I don't think there's anything better than watching a young player come through that you know that your club have developed. It's a joy to watch Lennon Mullen and Hugh Wilson play for us every week. They're both having great seasons. And I think that it's something that Scottish football needs to find a balance in, is giving young players game time. I really think that even the fact that there's no reserve league anymore is detrimental to us as well.
Reagan, it's very concerning because what Stephen was saying about Stuart Kettlewell, Craig Levine actually made the point last week as well, and he was dead direct in his answer. He was basically saying that young players don't get a game because managers are feeling for the job.
Yeah, they are, and like you look at David Gray. You're talking about David Gray on a shaky peg. The guy's only 4 games into his tenure as a manager, so it just shows me that these guys are scared to throw them in. I spoke about like that I felt like some maybe young players should be in the Scotland squad, but I mean you look at Spain, they had the young guy 17 years of age.
At the Euros, yeah.
The Euros, aye, and he won them the actual Euros. So if you look at that, Michael, right, I'm telling you, see in Scotland, we'd be like that. Oh no, we need to wait till he's 20 to throw him in. He's too young now. We need to give him time to develop. See if we throw him in early, that'll make him fearless more early.
See, aye. So sorry, on you go.
No, I was just going to say that. Like, I just feel like sometimes we're holding these players back too much. That if you actually threw them into the big stage, then they'll grow quicker.
I was just going to add, before we move on to the actual game tomorrow, I was just going to say, Regan, that we could actually fill a whole show about this as well. In terms of, like, I know me and Graham spoke before about European football. I think, Paul's got to go. I don't know if he's away at Dingwall or whatever, but enjoy the game, Paul. Hopefully the Dons will get 3 points as well. I don't know, Regan, if Scottish football fans, Scottish media, the society is very negative about Scottish football at times.
I think we've got a really good product. We've got a really good place where people can watch football. The one criticism I do have is on people like Neil Doncaster, who should be promoting the game better. We should be getting tickets. We should be getting ticket prices down to £5 to get in. We should be trying to get as many people in. I listened to a programme last week, Michael, where a former football player actually phoned in and he said that he's coaching his team at the moment and it costs over £100 to rent a football park. I think nowadays it shouldn't be £100 to rent a football park. It should be trying to make it affordable as possible because people like me have Xboxes and PlayStations and stuff like that. So there's more of these things available for people. They'd rather be playing Call of Duty and things like that rather than playing football.
Yeah, no, exactly. Stephen, Dundee against St Mirren tomorrow.
Yep.
This is I would say this would be the Marker-Harrow derby tomorrow as well.
I'll tell you what that is. It's a big couple of hours coming up for Dundee because obviously you get the talk of Luke McCowan going to Celtic, but also I've seen in the last 15 minutes the potential for Rangers to make a bid for Lyle Cameron as well. So that's 2 of Dundee's most important players in my eye. They'll need to keep a hold of. I've seen that they're trying to get one more in as it stands currently. But if they were to lose both of them, then it's no good for them. But I think the Luke McCowan one is certainly more concrete than the Lyle Cameron one. I think Hibs have come in with a bid of £750,000 for Luke McCowan. So that'll probably be rejected. But Aye. Difficulty to place these kind of players that are so important. And I think that for Dundee, they need to make sure that they're getting the right evaluation for the players as well. Another game that shows you how tight the Premiership is. Dundee v St Mirren. It's another one that could go either way, but I think Dundee have looked pretty solid, haven't they? In both the League Cup and in the start to the season. So I'd make them slight favourites going into this one.
Yeah, because they've got home advantage as well, Regan, Dundee. But in saying that, I mean, if the game was away from home, some of them would be in for a good game because Tony Docherty's got them playing well.
I think Tony Docherty has. Stephen, they talking about MD possibly Dundee bringing in, because surely Dundee kind of lose two players of that quality and no bring MD in. They need to bring 2 or 3 in.
I've heard they're looking at one. I don't know who that one is, but I don't think they'll lose Lyle Cameron, but it's looking like something may happen on the Luke McKeown front.
Is there still Celtic chatting him, or is it?
Celtic and Hibs have made a 4th bid of £750,000. There was rumours of Celtic going in with 1.1 million, so we know which one will be accepted at the two if the 2 bids do get put in.
I think he will be a Celtic player by the end of the night.
The interesting thing, if you look McKeown though, do you go to Celtic where you're probably going to sit on the bench more, or do you go to Hibs where you're going to go straight into that team and be playing every week? So it'll be interesting. I think that's the dilemma, but we'll see. It depends how the conversations go with Celtic, I think.
Regan, if I was Luke McKeown, maybe I would say Champions League in my eyes, because obviously he's not going to start a Champions League game, but he could get on as a sub at one of the games, and I think maybe that's why that's what's maybe catching his eye. Maybe the finances as well, but playing in the Champions League, because he's never played at that level before.
And I think you mentioned him earlier in the show, but people like Stuart Armstrong, Paul Hartley, Barry Robson, people like that, Michael, have shown that you can make the step up to Celtic. You just need to be of a certain
Tony Watt.
Yeah, Tony Watt. He scored one of the most important goals of the Celtic time. So I just feel like this would be a smart signing for all parties. But like I said, it would be a big blow for the Dundee fans heading along there tomorrow if they lose him.
As for St Mirren, Stephen, do you think that they will bounce back after last week's defeat to Celtic? I was a bit disappointed with St Mirren last week. Okay, they lost the goal last week, but they never got going after that.
I think it's a tough marker to judge any side against Celtic this season, and I would include Rangers in that. I just think there's that big a gap. It's always going to be difficult. I mean, I think Celtic had 77% of the ball or something last week, so it shows you the kind of a gulf in quality between the sides, which we know is there. I think St Mirren now, they've been I know they wouldn't have internally, but subconsciously maybe wrote last week's game off against Celtic with how well Celtic have started the season. So you kind of just take what you can get from that. The good thing for St Mirren now is that they're out of Europe, so they can focus on the league, and that focus will really start this Saturday against Dundee, and they'll be looking to get 3 points to add to the 3 that they got against was it Hibs at the start of the season. So, but I think they've got a good squad, and if they bring in Kevin Van Veen, I think a lot of the issue was what I was told. Kevin Van Veen showed up at Kelly with an injury last season. That Kelly maybe never knew he was there before he signed, and he looked kind of overweight as well, which is why he never played so much games. So, if they can get him fit, listen, we've seen what he can do if they get him in. He's one of the best strikers I've watched in my time as a Motherwell supporter. Absolutely fantastic. But I'm hoping that St Mirren gets something closer to the Kevin Van Veen that was at Kilmarnock, if I'm being really honest, because I'll be kicking myself if he goes on to do that about the other other
Okay,
clubs.
let's have a quick look at the championship tomorrow. This game's on tomorrow. It is Dunfermline against Ayr United. There you go. Morton against Falkirk. That's maybe the game of the day. It's the big Glasgow derby this weekend. Hamilton against Airdrie. That's another derby. I forgot about that one actually. Packet Thistle against Queen's Park, and Great Rovers against Mikey's Livingston tomorrow. I wonder who you'll be supporting, Stephen Hamilton and Airdrie.
The referee. No, but I think that's the game of the weekend for me. That's one that I'll obviously have an eye on, with it being obviously two North Lanarkshire clubs there. But I think again everybody will agree that Partick Thistle, Queen's Park, what a game that is. Any that stand out for you, Regan?
I think to see how Scott Brown's doing again, because he's started really well, Stephen. I mean, Scott. I know Scott Brown.
His team.
Yeah, I mean, I think his team started really well, and I mean, they've got some players with championship quality as well. The guy that played at Morton last year is at George Oakley. I mean, he's a great striker as well.
Yeah,
so,
Hamilton. Yeah.
He's at Morton. Yeah, and Hamilton before that. Yep.
I think they've got a very good squad now, and they've got the experienced players as well that you need in the championship as well. So I think that, and then you've got Falkirk as well who have yet to lose. So I'm sure we'll speak to the regular Falkirk fan and locker room soon again. So I think Falkirk and Ayr will be the ones that will contest the championship this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few games standing out for me tomorrow, guys. But I'm a bit disappointed how there's not a Friday night game on, because if it was a Friday night game on, there was only one game on. There was only one game that they could put on, Reagan, and that was Queen's Park. Packet Thistle Queen's Park.
Aye, I mean, Partick Thistle fans would say to you, that's the only Glasgow derby in town this weekend. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, Partick Thistle have been so unlucky the last couple of years. Obviously, they've got the sob story of Ross County beating them a few years ago, as we just come out of the COVID and stuff like that. So they'll be hoping that they can get back up. But I don't know if you guys seen the interview with one of the players there. He sounded very happy to be joining Partick Thistle.
Didn't see it.
Oh, Michael,
no, I never thought. Nope.
Oh my God! It went viral, the video. So I'm surprised you didn't see it.
But there's one club that sticks by the manager, Stephen, Packet Thistle, as well, because obviously they could easily sacked him, because obviously he's went to the playoff for the Premiership. What was it? Twice he got to the final the year before last year. And he got knocked out in the quarterfinals gigs last season as well. But that's
semis, I think, against
semi-final. But there's one. I mean, there's one club that sticks by the managers, and we are talking about sacking managers as like confetti.
No, but I think the disappointing thing for Thistle has been the start of the season. They only have an opening day draw against Morton at home, and with that they've only scored one goal, that being last week against Falkirk. So disappointing for start to the season for them. Out of the League Cup as well. So they're going to need to start to turn that around soon. They'll probably be identifying tomorrow's game being at home against Queen's Park is one that they'll be looking to kind of get points from. But no, I like Chris Dillon as a manager. I think he's went in there and he's done a great job. So I think you're almost too early to kind of be talking about sacking folk 3 games into a season. But hey, it didn't take Rafe Rovers long, did it? They did it after
No.
one. So
5 months.
nothing would shock you in football these days. But nah, I think Chris Dillon's going to get another couple of games, another 6 games or so to turn the form around.
Let's go over to that's the football of the weekend then. Let's go over to the Paralympics. Obviously, you had the Olympics a few weeks ago in Paris, and it was funny, Reagan, the opening ceremony at the Olympics. Everybody was nice and wet over there, but the opening ceremony of the Paralympics was quite a nice kind of night. But before we get into that, I don't know if you saw the news while we've been on there. Paracyclist Finn Graham from Scotland has won a medal in the paracycling. So that is good news for Finn Graham. What's your thoughts on first of all, the Paralympics being on the TV? It's been brilliant to see back-to-back coverage.
Aye, and I was telling you yesterday that they've also got every sport on YouTube as well, so it's interactive as well. So if you fancy watching a bit of wheelchair tennis, a bit of boccia, some goalball, and some blind football, it's all there on YouTube. So
and archery as well. So Reagan.
Yeah, it's just great to see all these sports on be open to people, because it's a great thing for me, Michael, to see all these para sports being available, because it's not often that you get to see them available on TV, and it's great that they're getting this exposure.
Yeah, no, definitely, and obviously we've got another week of it as well. But I like to see it because obviously the Paralympics is brilliant to see, but also all the presenters and everybody behind the camera has got some sort of disability, and that's brilliant to see. And that's before we talk about the games.
Yeah, I think it's important that you get that if you want to, if the media in the UK want to be inclusive, that they include people with disability are shown on screen, and they're also behind the camera as well, because I think it's also not important that you're just there to tick a box, that you're actually there to do a proper job, and you're there because you're very good at your job, and I think that's what these people are.
Yeah, no, exactly. What have you been enjoying watching so far? I know that you've been watching a bit of Borsha. I mean, I've been watching a bit of everything, a bit of Buffy, basically every kind of sport as well. But how's the Borsha getting on? I know Stephen Maguire has won a few medals so far.
Yeah, Stephen has won 2 matches so far. Yeah, he won 10-1 yesterday, and he won 8-1 this morning. So yeah, he's done well. And someone you interviewed, Kaylee Hagel, she got her first Paralympic win today.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah, she did well, and I've been keeping up to date with the wheelchair basketball and wheelchair rugby as well. I mean, it's great to see those sports. I mean, one of the interesting things for me, Michael, is when you see the people in falling at the chairs and stuff like that. It must be very sore. So
Yeah, no, exactly.
yeah, but I'm just really glad to see so much sport out there, and hopefully it can inspire the next generation of young disabled people who want to be involved.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's brilliant to see, and I don't know about you, but my message to the TV company says, disability sports on every weekend or every day, so cover more of it as well, Reagan.
Yeah, definitely. Because like you said, it's okay that you show it every 4 years, but you need to show it every day and show these athletes, because I think one of the bad things as well, not that I want to make it a bad thing, but the bad thing is that a lot of these people don't know they don't know wheelchair basketball. They don't know who that player is, or they don't know who that boccia player is from Scotland, or they don't know who the boccia player is from England, because they go, well, only see it once every 4 years on Channel 4. I don't see it on Sky, on TNT Sports or Premier, because none of these sports, they don't really get mainstream television believing that it'll get a proper audience. But I can tell you, I mean, I'm watching it just now, and there's a great audience watching some of these sports. So they need to become more open to showing more of these sports more often on the mainstream TV.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good point, Regan. So we'll be looking back at the Paralympics on Sunday as well on the show. Thanks to everybody watching tonight. We'll be back on Sunday for the big look back on the weekend. That's including that big game at Celtic Park on Sunday between Celtic and Rangers, 12:30 kickoff. Don't forget, we'll be back next Thursday as well for the Scotland games as well. Thanks to Regan, Graham and Stephen. Thanks to everybody watching the show, and we will see you here live at 3 o'clock on Sunday. Enjoy your football. Bye.
See you next week, guys.